So like dose dependent, you know, you were saying do it several times a week. You know, there's really no side effects, but can you overdo it? What's like an optimal amount of time to spend in front of a red light? Can you do it twice a day? Can you do it? Do you need to only do it once a day? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so let's look at the empirical basis for what's a good dose. We talked already about kind of like what we get from the sun. If you stand at the equator on a clear day, you get between 20 and 60 milliwatts per centimeter squared of near infrared. Some people will say it's up to 100, but still that's a range. That's the range. So it's like, that's the dose level. So between 20 and 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared. And then if you look at the thousands of photobiomodulation studies, you see that the sweet spot for this hormetic stress therapy, where there's a certain dose amount where we get maximal benefit before we get a decline in benefits. That maximal point is pretty much maxes out at 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared. And so if you look in the literature and you see adverse effects due to red light and near infrared light therapy, that's when we're getting into those really high, we're getting into 500 milliwatts, we're getting to 1,000 milliwatts, we're getting really high doses. So we see that also in the literature. If you give the cell too much red light therapy, too much near infrared light therapy, you do eventually cause damage by basically giving it too much, just like sauna. So there's a strong theoretical basis here for dose dependency. And so if that's the ancestral context, 20 to 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared, well, what should we do at home? What should you do with this? And so what we want to do is kind of hit that same sweet spot. I won't take you through all the math of it because it's kind of complicated, and we ought to show it on a whiteboard anyway for your audience if we wanted to. That is on our website, or we can talk about that later. But basically, with the photon, you can do 10 to 20 minutes on the head or the throat. With the head of the throat, you only do 10 minutes per session because we don't want to overheat the head. But if you're treating your thyroid, if you're treating your head for brain issues, 10 minutes per session, and you can actually do that 5 to 10 times a day. So even once per hour. But just like sauna, you want to titrate up to that. So if I just got this, I wanted to do my head, I do 1 10-minute session, and that's it in the day, and kind of slowly build up. And if we talk about wanting to do multiple parts of our body, let's say I want to treat my head because I've got some neuropsychiatric stuff I'm dealing with, but I've also got this I sprained my ankle the other day. So I'll do 10 minutes on my head and then immediately move it down and do 10 or 20 or 30 minutes on the ankle. Any other part of the body besides the head, we can do a session of 20 or 30 minutes. And we can repeat that session every hour, almost every hour of the day, up to 8 or 10 times a day. And it's very individual based, and you don't want to overdo it. That's my respectful, advice and warning for the biohackers out there that are really enthusiastic. More is not necessarily better. The maximal benefit here is to hit that sweet spot and the hormetic stress amount. It's to be different for different people. And so you always build up to these things. Again, for this to be really effective and really safe and really awesome and beneficial, we just want to do a gentle stress on the body. We don't want to kill our body. So with the photon though, because it's a spot therapy, we can kind of move it around our body and use it a lot. And so that's the photon use. With the sauna, you also have, it's an hormetic stress therapy. You don't want to overdo it. You can overheat your body, right? And cause heat stroke. But if you heat the body up just a little bit, just 3 degrees, and get it to sweat 5 or 10 minutes, you have this amazing array of effects. So the goal in all sauna therapy is a 3-degree temperature increase per session. And with what we do, that takes about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on who you are. And you can eventually do that up to twice a day. And so there are people who are dealing with real disease and serious issues are building up to this very rigorous discipline twice a day use. But most normal people, and I would include myself in that, I use it for 20 minutes before work every day. So I use it 5 days a week. It's just a quick 20-minute session. I pop in there. I don't preheat or anything. I have a 5-minute shower or something afterwards. So it's a very efficient therapy, what I do. And the sauna studies and the longevity studies and the new, what was it? It was an Alzheimer's study. the Lau Cannon, they did a 2,000 person Alzheimer's and dementia study over 20 years of Finnish males, and the results are tremendous. The more you use sauna per week, the proportionally decreased incidence of dementia you have. So they had the people didn't do sauna, people did sauna 1 day a week, people that did it 3 days a week, people that did it 7 days a week. And the more you did it per week, the subsequently and proportionally decreased incidence of dementia you had. And we see the same thing if we measure longevity in terms of heart disease. A very similar study from the same guy, Lau Cannon, in 2015. He followed over 2,000 Finnish males for 20 years, and they had massively decreased incidence of heart attack and coronary heart disease. The people were doing sauna every day. So all that to say that you can do sauna pretty much every day, just like nootropics and just like eating food. You basically need this every day. And it's not just like, oh, that's this thing that our ancestors did, and oh, it's kind of this fashionable thing they do now. It's really actually sauna therapy, and the benefits of that are more essential to modern humans than they were to ancestral humans, because modern humans deal with so many stresses nowadays that we're not biologically programmed to get. Bad nutrition, working too hard, all these different stresses that we have, including chemical stress, but also electromagnetic stress. Our ancestral humans pre-1891 had zero man-made electromagnetism on their body, zero microwave signal in anything. So they didn't have to deal with that. But we have to deal with so much more higher levels of stress, all this blue light, poor diet, weird artificial lifestyles indoors. We don't get our light, we don't get anything. And so of course we're suffering for it. And especially now with the whole pandemic and the flu season and stuff, it's just more essential than ever that we keep ourselves really strong and healthy.